Hey everybody, Jake here, and today I have for you two reviews. That's right, two reviews for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet's Teal Mask DLC. Now, before we get into the reviews, for the uninitiated, of course, this expansion sees you, a student, going on a bit of a field trip to a new region, and it is here that you meet new characters, you gain a new rival, you go on a quest to defeat some legendary Pokemon, and can even participate in some new side activities. The Teal Mask adds a lot of returning Pokemon that were not previously available in Scarlet and Violet, and even introduces a few new faces to collect. Now with that out of the way, let's talk about the first review. I call this one the fast review, and to take in the fast review, I need you to open your mind to me right now. Open your mind, feel around in it, feel its gooey curves. Find your brain document titled Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Review. Open that brain document and now copy and paste it to your brain folder titled the Teal Mask. Okay, now what I mean by this is that as a video game product, I don't find anything in the Teal Mask to be like a big improvement or a detriment to the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet experience. I just see it as more content. So if you're somebody who couldn't get past the performance issues, you thought Pokemon Scarlet and Violet was ugly, that was just too much, then you are not going to like this DLC. But if you think the world is fun to explore, you like doing battles, you just want more stuff to do, more new Pokemon, new characters, you are going to dig this DLC. And that's it. That's really all you need to know. But this is Pokemon we're talking about, and there is nothing more complex in its fandom, in its appreciation than the modern day Pokemon franchise, which is why we are reviewing it like this. We're getting cozy, we're gonna talk to each other for the long review, the full story. I want to break this review down by first identifying two key different types of Pokemon players out there. I think there are video game players that occasionally or frequently enjoy Pokemon games, and then I think separately from that, there are Pokemon fans. Fans of not just the games, fans of the world, maybe the anime, the trading card game, whatever. Their interest in Pokemon extends far out from just the game itself. And I think this distinction between these two kinds of players is important for talking about the quality of this DLC. Because in a lot of ways, I think as a video game product, the Teal Mask is a complete failure. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. So first, the vast majority of the bespoke content in the Teal Mask is just you running from NPC to NPC, taking in forgettable dialogue in which a character expresses one of their maybe two predetermined personality traits over and over again. You're just taking in the same information all of the time. Now, battles, a main pillar of the Pokemon franchise, they feel like an afterthought. I played this DLC like many players, having already completed the main game, and the content just does not know what to do with that information. So it decides to make every random little Pokemon in the wild level 60 and every trainer battle at around that level 2, and it feels so arbitrary and like kind of weird and insane to come across like a random wild bug Pokemon and it's level 60 for no reason other than Game Freak doesn't know how to do difficulty. So not only is it arbitrary, I feel that it's ineffective because I end up steamrolling every single one of these battles without a second thought, and I don't even really mind that the battles aren't difficult, but I do mind that they're uninteresting. Surely Game Freak can come up with a more variable solution than just making all these creatures have a higher level. Now, the new open world region is similarly dull. The main content takes place only along a few small repeated chunks of it, and the rest feels mostly like filler space just for the new and returning Pokemon to occupy, and I feel are functionally similar to what you find in Paldea. Now, speaking of those graphical capabilities, I suffered my worst performance issues in the Teal Mask. The game will frequently stutter, and I think that Pokemon Scarlet and Violet's battles can already be slow to start, but when you put a chugging frame rate on top of that, it becomes borderline insufferable. And yet, here I am, giving you the long review of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet's DLC, so surely I must have more to say than to just dog on this game. And I think this is where you're gonna see a split. You're gonna see a split in opinions. I think if you're reviewing the Teal Mask as a video game, you will say everything I just did. You will spell it out and you will say this is bad, 5 out of 10, go home. But the truth is, I think it's easy to point out all of the ways that this DLC falls short, because I think it falls short in all the same ways that Pokemon Scarlet and Violet's base game did. And there's a degree to which I think Game Freak just doesn't know how to video game sometimes. For example, there's a new key item introduced in the game. It's basically a selfie stick. The idea is that it makes taking pictures with your Pokemon easier. The guy that introduces it to you, he goes on and on about how fun it is, how much fun you're going to have with it. So much so that he sends you on a quest and says, run over there in our new region, take a picture with that thing. And you go, okay, makes sense. You know, you get a new feature, you get a new quest to accompany using that feature. So you run along, you get to the thing, you go to take your picture, and then you don't, because they don't let you do that. Instead, the game cuts to a cutscene, and you get a pre-baked photo instead. You don't get to use the feature, which is the whole reason you're going on the quest to begin with. And I don't know, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe this is just, it's the kind of thing that bothers me in the moment. It's the kind of Pokemon thing that I go, this is bad video gaming. But in my memories, am I really gonna remember going on this little quest line that took me like 2, 3, 4 hours to complete the whole thing? Or am I going to remember all of the photo sessions I had with my blue shiny Psyduck? Guess where I'm building with this is that as a Pokemon fan, as somebody that takes in the franchise more than just playing the video games, I think there are more important things than how those games perform, how those games act. I think Pokemon fans are more concerned with overall impact. There's a new rival character that I think epitomizes this perfectly. He is not fun to fight in the game. The battles are easy. He is not fun to talk to. I think the way that they write his little plot, the ups and downs, it's a clunky experience. But at the end of the day, what you are left with is somebody who wants to beat you so bad, has a full Joker moment. There is a rival who started off admiring you as your friend, and then he thinks you betrayed him, and now it is his life's mission to be strong and destroy you. That is in this game. It's not done well, but the idea is there. And I think the idea is what's important to Pokemon fans, and why a lot of Pokemon fans are gonna like this DLC, because that character is going to be returned to in other media, built up, and eventually probably made into this thing that they have already decided he is in the mind. There is a good blueprint there for a lot of stuff in the Teal Mask. This region being a different region from Paldea, having enough things in it to make you know there's an apple field here. That wasn't going on in Paldea. There are these rice fields. It's like there's enough in there for you to start painting it in your mind as different and unique, and all of that stuff will be capitalized on later. Just not in the video games, but later. It will be returned to. And there's a degree to which, can you tell I'm going crazy by now, but there's a degree to which that idea that I am describing, this building block, the beginning of something that will have a wider impact, permeates the entirety of the Teal Mask. Because your average video game player isn't going to care that this random Pokemon that returned from some past Pokemon game that you can now transfer in or find in the Kitakami region, this random Pokemon, he looks better now. He just looks cooler. The way they do his flames, or the way that they do the texture on the body, it just looks better. Like the average video game player, that's 1 out of a million of these little guys. They don't care. But to the Pokemon fan, that is part of the enjoyment, is revisiting these things, seeing how they look when refreshed every time over. That kind of thing matters. The Teal Mask has so many of these elements, and the more I play it, the more I am convinced that there are artists behind the wheel that are talented, that are capable of drawing these silhouettes that make me feel and think things. They're just not good at making video games. These are my thoughts on Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. It's a mixed bag, you know what I mean? A lot of good ideas, a lot of bad execution, but let me know what you think in the comments below. below. I would love to read your thoughts, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.